In this video, we wanted to talk about, should Christian couples be living together? And this is an important topic that Gabby and I wanted to touch on because I believe that we go to so many different communities. We've been to different communities, different fellowships and stuff. And then the typical church, and we see this a lot. Like, a lot of believers think it's okay that you live with somebody who's a Christian, like you're a couple, and they think it's okay you can sleep under the same roof. What do you think on that?
I would say no. I don't think it's okay. I know there's circumstances that people have gone through and things like that, and so I'm not trying to point out anybody, oh, your battery.
No, that's terrible. My wife, by the time you sit down, will be ready to go. Oh, okay. Oh man, I think I did it again. The battery died and I had to switch it. Ready? Can you fix it?
Yeah, I'll fix it.
You know what to do.
I know what to do.
Okay, so the battery died, as you could tell, and we were going to talk about, should Christian couples be living together? Gabby was talking. Do you remember where we left off?
I was just basically saying that I don't believe that biblically we should be living together as a couple that's not yet married. I'm sure there's circumstances where people have done this and it's complicated, but I would say, biblically speaking, I don't think it's a good idea because there's a lot of things. It's leaving doors open for lust and giving the enemy a foothold when you're sleeping under the same roof. And definitely do not sleep in the same bed. Do not sleep in the same room. But yeah, I would definitely say it doesn't seem wise. I don't think Jesus is going to instruct you to do that.
In Ephesians chapter 4, it says, do not give place to the devil. And also, if you read in Ephesians, it's talking about be angry and do not sin. So if you put yourself in a situation where you're under the same roof as somebody, and I get it, you might be telling yourself, hey, like, this isn't going to happen, like, we're smart, we're wise. And even Gabby and I had to be smart in those scenarios because there were a few times, for example, we weren't living together as a Christian couple, but there were a few times where we were in the same house together, but we had to sleep in different rooms. And we're talking more to the people who go beyond that. Like, they're in the same room together, and it's just, it can lead to other things, obviously. And our whole relationship leading up to marriage, we still had to be wise. Like, we had boundaries.
Other people around us.
Yeah, people knew there were people around us, and so people were holding us accountable, which I think is important. Like, if you're a Christian couple, one thing I would suggest is that you have some sort of elders in your life who can give you advice on these types of topics, or like be like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. Because there's a lot of topics within the church world that people just settle for and they think it's okay, but it's really not. And this is one of them. Like, if you're going to be with somebody, like, we need to go about it biblically. It says don't give place to the devil. And so he's going to use every opportunity when you're with this person, alone together, even if somebody else is in another room, like, he could still try to, plant those thoughts or feelings, emotions, and he likes to work in all of that. So the easy answer is no. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be living with somebody unless you're married. And now say, well, hey, we're on like a family trip or something and you guys are together and like you're in, like, at least you're with family. I would say at least be with people, have people around, and let the Lord just don't
speak.
Yeah, let him speak.
Yeah, I would say we're more so talking about people that are actually living together, not in the same place at the same time for like a trip or for a day, and having other people around. Because I think that's crucial, like we already said. Because there was a moment, like, we were both in Texas and there was other people there. Like, I was staying in like a little trailer thing and he was staying in his parents' RV. And so we were in different areas. But then a few times, like, there was some demonic stuff happening. So I stayed with them, but we weren't in the same place, like, we weren't in the same bed, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's, like, obvious, if you're two people that are living together, let's say, like, you were in sin, and then you came to the Lord convicted you and showed you, then, like, get married immediately. Or break up if it's not the Lord.
We wanted to make this video because, well, I did because I saw this pop up on my YouTube feed, and I thought, wow, this is actually important because I feel like there's a lack of people talking about these types of things. And another thing is, like, we've been to several different fellowships, and we still see this. And as born again believers, it's just something that, like, we're not necessarily like angry at it, but it's like we should be mature in the faith by now to not see stuff like this. Like, it's understandable in the church world because, and I say this in the nicest way, but everybody calls himself a Christian. But sometimes we're around people like, hey, you're born again, like, this shouldn't be acceptable, like, within your community. Like, that's not okay. There has to be structure. The Bible, there's structure all over the Bible. There has to be structure. There has to be leaders. And so it's important, like, as we're like, this is our ministry, online ministry. So we don't want to see any of our viewers falling into this. And this is just us, speaking up, being bold about it. Like, hey, it's not okay. And we say this in love. So definitely do not be living in the same home with your, future husband or wife.
Even if y'all are engaged.
Yeah.
Because I remember I used to watch, like, before I was truly walking with the Lord, these Christian YouTubers that were, like, always living together. Like, there were several accounts. And they were engaged, so they said it was okay. And I'm just, even in my mind back then, I'm like, how? Like, they're willfully putting themselves in a situation that they don't need to be in. Like, willfully allowing for the enemy to have a foothold. Yeah, that's the word.
I'm messing on that.
And so it's not something that you should purposely do. Yeah. It's just, yeah.
So that's pretty much it. This was a shorter video that we wanted to get, that we wanted to get out. I can't talk now. But a lot's happening. We just want to share another thing before we end the video. We have the registry still. It's still up if people want to check it out. If you don't know, she's pregnant. And she made a registry. So how can they find that? Link's in the description.
Yes, link is in description. It is that baby girl.
Yep. So also leave a like. We post every Tuesday, every Friday at 5 p.m. EST. And we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.